In my video, killing Mr. House before talking to TV version Mr. House, I thought I did everything. But you guys let me know that I forgot two things. And I'm glad you guys did. Because I don't usually do retries, but when it's results that really bug me, I will go ahead and retry to make sure I get the results I want. If you haven't seen the original video, go ahead and check it out. It's in the description. But in the original video, the main goal was to kill Mr. House and still keep the connection with the TV version of Mr. House intact. And no matter what I did, if Mr. House died, the connection was always lost. So the two things that I didn't do: one, I actually went to the wrong cell name. I COC'd myself to Lucky 38 Penthouse, which, yeah, that's where I wanted to go, but that was the wrong cell. The actual cell name is Lucky 38 Position B. That's the actual, Lucky 38 Penthouse I wanted to go to. And the other thing I didn't do was I didn't teleport Mr. House to me right next to the computer screen and then kill him to see if the connection was lost. So in this video, I'll be doing those exact two things, and we'll see if the connection stays lost or if I'm able to keep the connection and kill Mr. House. First thing I'm going to do is go to the actual Lucky 38 COC, which is COC Lucky 38 Position B. Okay, I spawned in the middle of nowhere. This can't be right. Yeah, it is. It's up there. I don't know why it puts me down here, but yeah, it's right there. This right here was where I wanted to go to in the original video. So let's no-clip my way up there and check how the connection is doing. Alright, as you can see, Mr. House is right here. His connection is intact, which is perfect. I can talk to him. So this Mr. House right here in the center cell of the Lucky 38 Position B, I can actually talk to him and continue with the quest. I'm going to reload the save, kill Mr. House, and then see if the connection at this location is still intact. Alright, so let's enter the Lucky 38. Perfect, I am now at the penthouse, the actual penthouse, not the center cell penthouse. And the connection is intact. Perfect, and I can obviously talk to him. I'm not going to do so, but I can talk to him. So let's go through the wall. I don't want to access any of these terminals or else it's going to fail the quest and then the connection will be lost. So I'm going to go through the walls as regular. I'm going to unlock this elevator. Okay. And I'm going to enter it and go to control room. Alright, so here's Mr. House. I'm going to kill him without touching this at all and not opening it. I'm just going to type kill all. Instantly kill him. There we go. Now I'm going to go check out the COC location to see if the connection is still intact. And the connection has been lost. Alright, so the connection at the center cell location has been lost. So if I kill Mr. House and I COC myself to the Lucky 38 Penthouse, the connection is lost. So now it's time to try the second thing out, which is teleport Mr. House right next to the computer screen, kill Mr. House, and see if the connection is lost or if the connection stays how it is. Let's reload the save and try that. So now I'm going to avoid the terminal and I'm going to grab his reference ID, which is right here. Okay, so I just got to remember that. So now that I wrote down his reference ID, I'm going to go back up to the computer screen and spawn him next to it. Okay, so now I'm going to teleport Mr. House right next to the TV version of Mr. House, kill Mr. House, and see if the connection is lost or the connection stays. And that right there will be the retry. So that right there is the command to move Mr. House to me. That is his reference ID, and that is the command. Not found. Cool. Cool. So no matter what I do, it will not let me move Mr. House to me. It just keeps saying script command not found. The only thing I could do is move the base ID version of Mr. House to me and see if that works. It's the last thing I can do to try this out. Okay, there you go. That worked. So there's the base version of Mr. House. Unfortunately, it's not the real Mr. House that's in the basement right now. That I have no idea how to move a reference ID person to me if they're not in my line of sight. Like, for example, I'll show you what I mean. So Mr. House is in the basement, right? I want to get him up here, but moving the reference ID does not work. If he's in my line of sight, I can just click on him, and type in move to player. There you go, see? So that right there would work if Mr. House was in the same area, but he's not. So I have to use the base ID version of Mr. House. So here we go, Mr. House, Mr. House. In the same room right now, I'm going to kill Mr. House and see if the connection is lost. I, of course, cannot kill Mr. House. Nothing happens, because I have to use kill all to kill Mr. House while he's in his little incubator. So if I use kill all, Mr. House dies, and the connection is lost instantly. So guys, there you have it. There is no way to have Mr. House dead and the connection still there with the TV version. Unfortunately, once Mr. House is dead, the connection is instantly lost. So guys, thanks for watching, and you can now stop commenting, you forgot to do this, you forgot to do that. Unless there's a way to actually move the reference ID, Mr. House, then I'll probably do a retry part 3, okay? But for now, I'm laying it to rest, okay? Let's watch it, guys. Remember, stay proper. Peace. So, I'm a fucking idiot. Confirmed. As I'm editing this video you're watching, I noticed that around here, where I thought I grabbed his actual ID, so I thought I grabbed Mr. House's ID, right? Let's see real quick. What ID did I grab, bro? That is not Mr. House's ID, I don't think. Like, it doesn't say Mr. House. Where's his name? So now I'm wondering, you know, to myself, no wonder it didn't fucking work. Alright? I didn't even grab his ID. So I'm gonna retry it right now and see if it actually works. If not, well, whatever. Alright, let's try this again the proper way, actually grabbing his ID. So here's Mr. House. I'm going to do what I usually do and no clip through this wall here. Past all this, unlock that, boom. Okay, so now I'm gonna make sure I grab his actual ID. See, that was not it. That one was his proper ID. Alright, let me just make sure I write this down. So now when I type his reference ID in and move to player, hopefully he actually moves to me. There we go, move to player. Script command, move to not found. Really? Okay, well, it doesn't work, so I'm glad I tried it properly this time. So the reference ID does not work. If you guys know how to get the reference ID to work, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below, but I'm glad I caught that while I was editing and went back and tried it the proper way rather than just leaving it how it was. So yeah, it still doesn't work, guys, even with the proper reference ID. So, good to know.